Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you how I get this everyday makeup routine, this look. I'm showing you my favorite products, techniques I use, how I achieve doing all of this. And you can also make this more full glam. You can take it away. You can do less full glam. This is kind of just like the perfect base that I always go to if I'm trying to get in the middle, and then I'll take it up from there or take it down from there. But I thought this would be fun before I left for college to use my vanity and my good lighting before I go back to the dorm lighting and show you guys how I achieve this makeup look. Okay, I always use these little clippy things to hold my hair back. I got these off Amazon and they're perfect. Okay, first before I start my makeup, I always do, like, I wash my face and do some skincare, and I always put my Cetaphil moisturizer on. This is kind of just my everyday moisturizer, so I always do that first, and then once that's kind of dried, then I go into my other skin prep before I do my makeup. Okay, so I saw someone on TikTok one day tell me that like your skincare before your makeup has to go on by lightest to heaviest in like product. So I always use the Tower 28 spray before I do anything. And then I use the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Serum, and I just put that all over. And then lastly, for skin prep, this is something that I think everyone needs, the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Skin Enriched Face Base. The best thing ever. I know it's expensive, but trust me, it's a good investment. Okay, and then I normally don't do this, but just to show you guys, obviously I have rosy cheeks, I have rosacea. So what I do to kind of counter that is I use the Cinepair green solution. I have the mini version of it and I really like it. I kind of do this if I have more like formal events coming up, like if I have a sorority thing or for my deb ball or a wedding, but you know, why not today? It doesn't do a crazy amount, but it definitely helps reduce the redness. Okay, and then I go in with my primer. I use the e.l.f. Power Grip. I've been using this for forever. I honestly was not a primer girl, but I truly think that it helps your makeup stay on so much better. I literally will take off my makeup if I forget my primer, and this is like $6 and it's the perfect primer. Okay, I then will go in with my Saie Glow Drops. I'm running really low on these, but they just add a little glowiness to my skin that I love. And then when I do my foundation, I mix these in. So my favorite everyday makeup that I've been loving recently is the Skin Forever Dior foundation. I'm loving this. It's like thin, but it still covers things up. But when I'm wanting more coverage and I'm doing more of a fuller glam kind of a look, I'll either use my House Labs, it's a little dirty, or my Giorgio Armani one. I love these two, but kind of for an everyday, I just use my Forever Dior one, and I am in the shade 2.5N. And then I just got this foundation brush from Sephora. It's the 56 foundation brush. I don't know, but then I'll just mix these all together, like use my face as a little palette and just rub it all in. I'm really not good with a brush at all. That is something that I need to work on. So I'll go in with my beauty blender and just kind of blend this out. I forgot to dampen my beauty blender, but always do this. If you're not dampening your beauty blender, you have to. And I just kind of go over it so that there's no like brush lines that you can see. Okay, and as you can see, it covers up my redness a good amount, but you can still kind of see it popping through. And I always take whatever's left on the brush and just kind of blend it down into my neck. Okay, now onto my favorite part, bronzer. So my favorite is the Rare Beauty. This is kind of like my everyday go-to, but I just started using the Milk Makeup one and I love this one too. So these are kind of what I go in with for my base of my contour. I just take these and I do a little bit on my forehead, my cheeks, and then I'll put two little lines on my jaw to like kind of chisel it out. Then I also just got this Sephora contour brush. It's in 79. That's like the number. And I'll just kind of go in and blend it through. For this one, I don't really need my beauty blender, but I kind of always get a little bit paranoid that it's not rubbed in, and I'll just go in with this over the brush with my beauty blender. Okay, and then I love to have more of a bronzy look. I'm just like obsessed with bronzer, don't come at me. But my favorite other than those two is my Chanel one. Just so good. I love this. And I'll just take my brush that I used before, and I'll just go in on my forehead. I normally don't put this on my cheeks or my jawline just because I kind of like my forehead to be a little bit bronzed. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I'm talking about, but you guys can take everything with a grain of salt. But then I'll just kind of blend that in with my beauty blender, and it just adds a little more bronziness on my forehead, and then I just keep everything else kind of the same. Okay, now time for concealer. My favorite concealer of all time is the Hourglass one. I think I'm in the shade, yeah, Sepia. So I just take this. Also, always do your bronzer before your contour. What did I just say? Always use your bronzer before your concealer because this like helps chisel out the contour that you already had on. So I take this and I put it on my inner corners and then just above my eyes. And then I saw Lauren on TikTok, I forget her last name, but it's on my TikTok, go check it out so I can give her credit for this. But she also takes the Maybelline Master Eraser Age Rewind in the color 160, and she takes this and just puts it right here, and I've been trying it out recently and I really like it. Okay, and then I learned from her too that you take the Hourglass brush, this is the foundation one, and you just kind of like seamlessly blend this all in, and it gives like that lifting effect. And I don't know why I always just get so paranoid, so I'll go in with my beauty blender. I think this kind of takes away a little bit of the product, but you know, it's an everyday makeup look, it's okay. But then I just do the same on the other side. Okay, and then once that is blended in and my eyes are looking a little more awake, then I go in with my Kosas Concealer. This is in the shade 03W, and I use this on my cheekbones to kind of hollow them out. I don't really know why I switch concealers. Honestly, I started with Kosas and then found Hourglass, and I like this one better for my under eyes, but I still wanted to use Kosas, so I use it on my cheeks, but you can obviously use whatever you want. And then I go in with my Sephora concealer brush. This one is in 71, and I just take it and kind of chisel out like that on both sides. I used to take it really far down, like all the way down here, but I learned that if you actually keep it higher up, it creates like a more natural lifting look. And then I'll just take my beauty blender and I make sure that I keep that sharp edge and I just blend downwards. So now we have the contour and the concealer to kind of like lift and brighten my face. Okay, and then I learned this years ago from Alex Earle when she used the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer as her nose contour, and I have never looked back. So I just take 2 little drops of that and I put it on my nose, and I'll just take my finger and I'll just rub it up and down. It's honestly not perfect at all. And then I'll just take my beauty blender and kind of rub it in like that. I then take whatever is left over on my concealer brush and just kind of create a little bit more of a nose contour and blend that in. And then I love to set my face, especially with my Alex Earle little powder puff. I got these, I think like 2 years ago when she started to like blow up, and I have never looked back since. But I use my Huda Beauty Setting Powder, why can't I come up with the word? And I use it in shade Cupcake. I think this is the one like right before the pink one that everyone's obsessed with. But I just tap it onto the lid of it and I take my powder puff and I dip it on both sides like this so that I can take it on my nose. And then when you're doing your baking, you want to make sure that you're pressing it in, not just like swiping it, because that's just not going to do anything for your makeup. So especially on your under eyes, you want to like tap it in like this so that it's actually setting that makeup in and you're not just like sweeping it and it's just like kind of sitting on top of it. And then I do the same for my cheekbones. I just kind of go across and down like that, but I'm still patting it in after to make sure that it's just not sitting on top. When I'm doing a more full coverage, full glam kind of a makeup look, I'll go over again and put more setting powder under my eyes, but I don't want it to look too cakey because this is just everyday. But if you do go over it more, it's just gonna set it in more. Okay, and then while I'm letting this bake and sit, I go onto my eyebrows. I only use Benefit for my eyebrows, and I use the Precisely brow pencil in shade 3.5. And I'll first start by just kind of going up with my eyebrows with the little spoolie, and then I take the pencil part, and I do really light eyebrows, but I still like to have them look full and filled in. So I just kind of go up in stroking motions to kind of resemble hair. And I just kind of do that until I'm happy with it. I really don't do too much. That's kind of all I do. And then I just take the spoolie again and brush through it so it looks a little bit more natural. And I'll do it to both sides. Okay, and then once I'm happy with how both of them look, I take the 24-hour brow setter and I just put it on top to set them in place. This also kind of, I feel like, blends it out and makes it a little more natural too. Okay, and then while this is still setting, I do my eyes. And normally if I'm going out or doing something crazy, I use my Makeup by Mario palette. This one is just the mattes one, and I'm obsessed with it because you can use it literally for anything. But again, this is just every day. So I normally just take my Hoola bronzer and I put it in my crease. I use the Morphe X, I think it was Maddie or Mackenzie Ziegler. I found these in Target one day and I love them. And I literally just put it in my crease. Super light, super simple. And then sometimes I take another fluffy brush and just kind of blend it out because I always use this one and sometimes there's darker shades on it that I want to be on my eyes. Okay, and then that's kind of it for eyes. I honestly keep it really simple. Even if I am going out and doing something where I need a little bit more eye makeup, I normally don't go too heavy just only because I simply don't know how to do it. I'm going to do another video or add this in a video somewhere on what I used in my Makeup by Mario's because on my TikToks, people always ask me what shades I use and stuff like that. I also love this Soft Glam one by Anastasia. I use some shimmers in here, but in another video or in a TikTok somewhere, I'll show you guys how I do my makeup when I'm doing something more than just an everyday makeup routine. Okay, and then other than bronzer, this is my favorite part. I feel like I've always gotten compliments on my eyelashes, and I'm gonna show you guys the secret. And yes, we use 4 mascaras, don't come at me. Okay, before I put any mascara on, I always just kind of brush through my eyelashes with my fingers to make sure there's like no clumps and they're just looking right. I don't know if that does anything, but I just do it. And then I take my L'Oreal telescopic lift one. This is the just like plain, I don't use waterproof because I just feel like it's so much harder to get off and I'm never like swimming or doing anything where I need waterproof mascara, so I just use regular. And so I just take this, and this is the key to mascara. Everyone, if you take anything away from this video, this is what you need to know. So when you do this, this is how you make your eyes look lifted. You take from like here on in your lashes, and then you're gonna take this and only put mascara on that part of your lashes. Okay, see how there's no mascara on the inner corner? It's only on the outer corner. I know it's gonna look crazy, but just trust me, just don't touch the inner corner at all. And then do it on the other side too. Okay, so only on the outer corners is what we've done. And when I use the mascara, there's like a flat side and then the side with the bristles. I always use the side with the bristles when I'm doing that outer corner. And then we're going in with the second mascara. I honestly don't know if anything of like using all 4 mascaras is necessary, but I do it and I'm just not gonna switch because it works for me. But the second mascara that I use is the Maybelline Sky High. I have loved this one. My mom actually is obsessed with this one. I've done this like mascara method on her and this is the one she took away from it. So then we take this and we go over just the outer corners when we did the L'Oreal telescopic one, not the inner corner, just stay on the outer corner. And this one adds a little more like, I feel like fullness in your lashes. I feel like the telescopic lifts and this just adds a little bit more fullness in the lashes. Okay, now that we have just the outer corners, we need to add something into the inner corners and on the bottom lashes. So now here's for mascara number 3. We go in with the regular L'Oreal telescopic. This one is the one, I think it's like the Super Lift or something. It's in the black container. This one is in the gold, like original container that everyone loves. This is the one that I first started using like way back when. And this one has like a thinner brush. Okay, this is where we go into the inner corners now. But you only have to do like 2 or 3 swipes because you don't want it to look too heavy. So I go in and like that's literally all, because if you see, then this looks lighter than this and it just takes that and like lifts it up. And then you can also take this on the outer corner too just to add a little lift. And then you're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and then once we've done only a few sweeps in the inner corners, then you can take it and put it on the bottom lashes if you like. I know some people don't like to put mascara on their bottom lashes, but I personally do. I don't do anything too crazy though, I just kind of go over it once. Okay, and now for mascara number 4, I have had this mascara, this is probably gross, and like, maybe don't take this advice. I've had this mascara for years, but there's no mascara in it. It's literally just for the brush. I like to use this, it's a Glossier one, and I just like to use it to like brush out my eyelashes so that they're not super clumpy. That's literally the only reason why I use it. There's no mascara on it. I just like the brush that it comes with. Okay, now that the mascara is done, I don't know if you can tell, I feel like I can tell, the mascara totally makes a difference in the ways that your eyes look. And if you put more eyeshadow on and you make this darker, it totally looks like you have a false lash on. Like if you put like a little darker eyeshadow near your eyelash line and you take it and lift it up, it just totally changes the game. And I would highly recommend, because normally when I put false lashes on, I only take the ones that are like small individual ones and I'll put it on the corners, and this just kind of gives the same effect but naturally with regular mascara. I now take one of my Real Techniques like super fluffy brushes and I just take off that setting powder because we don't want that on anymore. And I always make sure that I kind of like blend it out with a beauty blender because I don't want those harsh lines that it sometimes gives. And now for one of my new favorite finds, my NARS bronzer. I have it in Laguna Matte. I was at Sephora and I was gonna get the Charlotte Tilbury one, and the lady was like, can I show you my favorite bronzer? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, this one comes off not orangey and just like an actual bronzy color, and she could not have been more right. I am obsessed. So like if you guys are looking for bronzers, definitely would recommend this one, because if you feel like your bronzers are orange and just not bronzy and like they don't look natural, this one's your one. So I just take this and I kind of go over the contour that I did earlier just to set it so that it doesn't move around throughout the day. And then I'll also take this and put it on my jawline. Okay, and then other than that, oh my God, stop, I'm a liar. I always forget this. I literally always forget this, and I always think that something in my makeup doesn't look good. I take my Hoola bronzer and I go in with the same eyeshadow brush. It's not the same eyeshadow brush, the same eyeshadow brush, and I do a little bit of nose contour. Super lightly, I just do it just so that it adds a little bit more of that bronzer, and because everything else has bronzer except for the nose. I always forget this. Oh my God, don't even listen to what I'm saying right now. And then I always forget this too. I take my Maybelline brown eyeliner and I just take it from here on. I don't go all the way, I take it from here on, and I just do my waterline super lightly just so that it also like lifts your eye just a little bit more, but I don't do anything crazy. Yes, those are the two things that I always forget, and especially in my TikTok get readies with me, I'll leave them out, but don't forget those. Okay, and then for real this time, other than that, this is kind of my everyday makeup routine, but I'll go in with some sort of setting spray. I love the Charlotte Tilbury one, but I was saying one day on my TikTok, I feel like it runs out so quickly and it's so expensive, but when I do have it, I love to use it, and then I'll just kind of fan it off. But another one that I love is just the Morphe one. I feel like it does the same job, if not good or better. Okay guys, and then this is just the final makeup look. Super simple, super easy, and you can add to it, you can take away from it, but all the products in here are my go-tos and my favorites. I am a Sephora addict. I've tried a lot of products, and these are the products that I keep going back to. So I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys can take away some techniques or products. I'm not an expert by any means, but this is just kind of what I do to achieve my everyday makeup routine.